Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's August 1st, 2018. I'm Eric. My last Illuminati video I left off at is the Illuminati a Jewish conspiracy? And the woman's pseudonym, let me go back a little bit just in case you didn't see that particular video. This is an article on beforeitsnews.com from an interview given by an Illuminati insider. Supposedly this woman is that insider. She grew up in the Illuminati as a child, and the author is Henry Mackau, PhD. And so far I went through, who she is. And now I'm starting back off where I just said. I left off before. Is the Illuminati a Jewish conspiracy? Now, I'm not really sure how to pronounce this woman's name or pseudonym, but Savali is how I've been saying it. And she says absolutely not. In fact, Hitler and his people, especially Himmler and Goebbels, were top Illuminists. The Illuminati are racist in the extreme, and as a child, I was forced to play concentration camp both on my farm in Virginia and also in Europe, in isolated camps in Germany. And it goes on to say that the Jews historically fought against the occult, and they talk about Deuteronomy and some of the Old Testament. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. And this next piece is from an excerpt from an email to Henry Mackau. Yes, there are many very powerful Jewish people in this group. For instance, the Rothschild family literally runs the financial empire in Europe and indirectly the United States, and are a well-known Jewish family. I also have known people whose parents were Jewish diamond merchants in the group and at every level. But to rise to power in the Illuminati, a Jewish person at night would be forced to renounce their faith and to give their first allegiance to Lucifer and beliefs of the Illuminati. In return for this betrayal, they believe that power, financial, and rewards come, and in one sense they do, but at too high a price, and that is losing their eternal soul. The Nazi concentration camp mentality is very strong, though, and I was told that Hitler, Himmler, Goebbels, and others were high-ranking German members of the group. Himmler was higher than the other two, and Mengele, their paid puppet as well, who later worked as a high trainer of the American branch between his periods of hiding in South America. They honestly believed that they were acting as agents of their gods to exterminate the Jewish race, and I am so sorry that this group has enacted so many horrors on the earth, and so glad that I left it. Now, just because I'm going over this article with y'all does not mean I agree with everything in it. For all we know, this person could just be a well-studied person. We don't know that she is actually in the Illuminati, and the fact of the matter is, the numbers claimed by the Jews to have died and don't add up. Okay. I just have a hard time believing that. And as far as the Jews fighting against these people for since Deuteronomy and the Old Testament, doesn't make them good guys either. They all have a god or deity they are serving. She says she has always wondered this, though, why some of the highest ranking financial families in the group, Baron Rothschild of France is one of the 13 European lords or kings that run the group in Europe and sits on the World Council, are Jewish, yet the group espouses hatred of their own race. And he asked a rather redundant question, are they racist? I don't really need to go through that because of the paragraphs I just went through. She said they are racist in their extreme, right? And that's being redundant. So, we're going to get down here to Freemasonry. The Freemasons and the Illuminists are hand in glove. I don't care if this steps on any toes, it's a fact. The Masonic Temple at Alexandria, Virginia, is a center in the Washington, D.C. area for Illuminati scholarship and teaching. I was taken there at intervals for testing to step up a level for scholarship and high ceremonies. The leaders in this Masonic group were also Illuminists. This has been true of every large city I have lived in. The top Freemasons were also top Illuminists. My maternal grandparents were both high-ranking Masons in the city of Pittsburgh. They ask, are all Masons Illuminati? She says, no, not at the lower levels. I believe they know nothing of the practices that occur in the middle of the night in the large group, or larger temples rather. Many are probably fine businessmen and Christians, but I have never known a 32nd degree Mason or above who wasn't an Illuminati. And the group helped create Freemasonry as a front for their activities. CIA, FBI are all infiltrated, so are Mormons, and so on and so forth. She says many of the administrators and directors at the FBI are also Illuminists. The CIA helped bring over German scientists after World War II. Many of these were also Illuminati leaders in their own country, and they were welcomed with open arms by the U.S. group. They also funneled all information they were learning to the Illuminati. The Mormons affiliated years ago in a meeting with Illuminati leadership in the 1950s, the same with Jehovah's Witnesses. So we'll skip the Cold War. Well, wait a minute here. There's something in here that's important. Russia was never really a threat to us. Marxism was funded by the Illuminati and espoused as a counterbalance to capitalism. The Illuminati believed strongly in balancing opposing forces. assassin training. Here's how it is done, how it was done to me. When the child is 2 years old, place them in a metal cage with electrodes attached. Shock the child severely. Take the child out and place a kitten in his hands. Tell the child to wring the kitten's neck. The child will cry and refuse. Put the child into the cage and shock them until they are dazed and cannot scream anymore. Take the child out and tell them again to wring the kitten's neck. This time, the child will shake all over, cry, but do it, afraid of the torture. The child will then go into the corner and puke afterwards, while the adult praises them for doing such a good job. This is the first step. The animals get bigger over time as the child gets older. They will be forced to kill an infant at some point, either a setup or a VR or in reality. I'm not sure what she means by setup. I'm pretty sure virtual reality is VR. And reality, of course. They will be taught by the age 9 to put together a gun and aim and fire on a target and on command. They will then practice on realistic mannequins. They will then practice on animals. They will then practice on expendables or in VR. They will be highly praised if they do well and tortured if they don't comply. The older children, or teen, the more advanced the training. By the age 15, most children will also be forced to do hand-to-hand combat in front of spectators, high people who come to watch the games, much as the ancient gladiators performed. These matches are rarely done to the death, usually until one child goes down. They use every type of weapon imaginable and learn to fight for their lives. If a child loses a fight, they are heavily punished by their trainer, who loses face. If they win, they are again praised for being strong and adept with weapons. By the time they are 21, they are well-trained combat killing machines with combat codes to kill, and they have been tested over and over to prove that they will obey on command. This is how children in the German Illuminati are brought up. I went through it myself. Trust in family. They tell their children as they torture them, I am doing this because I love you. To them, the greatest love is to make a child strong and fit to lead or move higher in the group by whatever means it takes. So pretty crazy, huh? What's expected of them. But you know what? Maybe they have a point about people being weak and stupid. But, you know, I digress. Okay, she says, those doing this to me thought they were teaching me something of value that would help me. And because of the vicious and political nature of the group, in one sense they were right. The naive get stepped on and wounded. I have known parents who tried to spare their children some of this out of love, but often they were overruled by other family members who viewed these parents as weak and unfit to teach the child. She goes on to say most of them are wounded, abused victims who don't realize that it is possible to leave the group. There is a lot of discontent in the ranks, and there would be a mass exodus if the members believed it were really possible to get out and live. So, pretty vicious group from what she describes. I'll go down to TV. Also, remember those studies that stated that TV violence doesn't affect children's behavior years ago? Guess who funded them? They are a bunch of bullcrud. What a person watches does influence them, and this is well known by the behaviorists in the group. In fact, they know that TV is a tool that they purposely use to influence the masses. It cannot create a total personality change in the average citizen, but it can desensitize us increasingly to violence, pornography, and the occult, and influence the perceptions of young children. Rock music. She says Britney Spears and Eminem are rock music. I'm going to go ahead and go through this since it's so damn funny. I believe that Britney Spears, Eminem, and others are being used by them to sing lyrics that they like. Ever notice that he wears a neo-Nazi look and sings hate lyrics? This is not by chance. In fact, many of the top pop singers come from an internship with the Mickey Mouse Club. Yep, good old Walt Disney, the Illuminist Empire. Or good old Walt, the Illuminist Empire. And I believe they are offered stardom in exchange for allegiance or mind control. How many lyrics advocate suicide, violence, despair, and New Age spirituality? So, here are their weaknesses. Number one, their arrogance. These people think they are untouchable, and this could make them careless. Number two, if by a miracle enough people took this seriously and started organizing in some way to stop the Illuminati takeover with prayer and God's guidance, perhaps they could be stopped. No, prayer is not going to do it, people. They got to be hung. Hung, I tell you. Number three, stop pornography and child prostitution and drug smuggling and gun running would take out a huge chunk of their profits. Maybe they would slow down, but honestly, stopping above would be as difficult as stopping the group. Anyway, this is getting a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I will pick it up again on the next video. Hope everyone has a good day. Remember, kill the state.